In a country where public trust is fragile, where headlines travel faster than facts, one story has shaken the corridors of power. The allegations that Nigeria's Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Uche Geoffrey Nnaji, forged his academic and NYSC certificates. It began like any other political appointment: a nomination, a Senate screening, applause. But behind the smiling cameras and sealed envelopes, questions were already brewing. For Naija, we sabi how gist dey take spread. One person go talk, another go add pepper. Before you know am, e don turn national wahala. This is a story of accusation and denial, of journalism and legality, and of how truth can become the first casualty in the court of public opinion. In October 2025, Premium Times, one of Nigeria's most respected investigative news platforms, published the result of a 2-year investigation. Their report alleged that Chief Uche Nnaji submitted forged academic and NYSC certificates to both the President and the Senate during the 2023 ministerial screening. According to Premium Times, Mr. Nnaji was admitted to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, in 1981, but allegedly did not complete his studies. The report claimed that UNN disowned his bachelor's degree, stating he was never awarded a certificate. The article quoted the university's Vice Chancellor, Professor Simon Ortuanya, as confirming, in a written response to a Freedom of Information request, that Nnaji never graduated. If true, this was not just a scandal, it was a criminal offense. In Nigeria, submitting forged certificates to public institutions can carry severe penalties, including imprisonment. The report spread quickly. Within hours, it was trending across social media platforms. Hashtags like #ForgeryGate, #fake certificates, and #Tinubu cabinet scandal dominated Nigerian Twitter. For online space, nobody dey wait for proof. Once they hear forgery, na judgment. People begin to shout, "E suppose resign." Other talk say, "Na winch hunt." But the question is, what exactly did Premium Times have? Their investigation relied on document analysis and institutional verification requests. They claimed copies of a minister's certificate came from a source within the Senate, someone who allegedly had access to his ministerial screening file. That single claim, that a senator leaked the certificate, would later become the center of a legal and ethical storm. Because on the day Nigerians expected answers, the man at the center of a storm was nowhere to be found. On Monday, October 6, 2025, journalists from across the country gathered at the Ministry of Science and Technology's conference hall in Abuja. The invitation had been clear: Minister speaks. The time, 2 p.m. The topic, the allegations of certificate forgery. But as the minutes turned into hours, the minister didn't show up. At 3:30 p.m., the press conference finally began. Not with the minister himself, but with a spokesperson, Robert Ongo, flanked by other ministry officials. The minister's absence raised eyebrows. Some saw it as a strategy, avoiding a hostile media crowd. Others saw it as fear, a man cornered by evidence. But Ungu dismissed the allegations as fabricated and politically motivated, insisting that his boss was a victim of a smear campaign. He told reporters the minister would not dignify falsehoods with personal drama and that legal action was being considered. But for public hungry for transparency, this explanation felt thin. Nigerians wanted to hear from Uche Nnaji himself, not through intermediaries. People talk say if man sure for him paper, make he come talk am with chest. Let him say it with his full chest. Let him face Nigerians and speak. All these politicians, says one male person in his mid-30s, he says, they know they have themselves. Now always spokesperson, we go dey hear. Another person, a female in her 20s, says, if he fake, make dem show us evidence. If he no fake, make the university talk true. Abi? If actually he graduated from Nsukka University, UNN, that is the University of Nigeria, there should be no harm in him just, proving and letting the sleeping dog lie, proving to Nigerians that you actually graduated from the university if you do not have anything to hide. Like, why are we having people that are of questionable character, people who we are not even sure what their educational qualifications are? Why are we having them at the helm of affairs? What's going on? Anyway, I don't blame the issue is that if the head is weak, what will the neck do? Because it's from the above. Because till tomorrow, even Tinubu himself have not yet shown us evidence that he actually graduated from the University of California. So we are not surprised. I am personally not surprised anyway. You guys, this is where the story took a new turn because just days later, the University of Nigeria Nsukka broke its silence. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Simon Ortuanya, released a statement denying ever confirming the forgery allegation. It said clearly he never spoke to Premium Times and that any claim suggesting otherwise was false. To cut the long story short, he says, talk that thing wey una say I talk. So who is telling the truth? The journalist who claims to have a university confirmation or the university that says it never gave one? On October 7th, 2025, just 3 days after Premium Times' explosive publication, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nigeria, also Professor Simon Ortuanya, issued a statement that flipped the entire story on its head. In the statement, the professor described the publication as a disinformation and smear campaign against the minister, Chief Uche Nnaji. He said clearly that he had not spoken with or sent any correspondence to journalist China Gorom Ugu, the reporter behind the Premium Times investigation. The Vice Chancellor also reminded journalists that universities are bound by law not to disclose a graduate's academic record without their explicit consent. In simple English, this means that you no fit just waka enter university office, ask for person results and give you. You no dey work like that. It doesn't work like that. This is according to the university vice chancellor. The professor's words reference the Nigerian Data Protection Act of 2023, a law that safeguards the personal data of every citizen. Under the Act, no institution can release personal or academic data without lawful basis or the owner's consent. And it doesn't stop there. Section 37 of Nigeria's 1999 Constitution guarantees the right to privacy. That includes academic records, medical details, and personal correspondence. In other words, even if Premium Times had requested information under the Freedom of Information Act, the university had every legal reason to deny such a request. Section 14(1)(b) of the FOI Act specifically forbids public officials from disclosing personal information about government appointees or applicants, including certificates submitted for screening. So, if journalists say dem get am through Freedom of Information letter, the question be how? How did they get it? Because that kind no suppose pass legal filter at all. If a university says it's never released a document and the law says it cannot, then Premium Times proof has no verifiable origin. That means somewhere in this story, someone is lying. Either the reporter fabricated a document and forged a response, or someone impersonated a vice chancellor to mislead both the journalist and the public. In investigative journalism, verification is everything. One unverified letter can destroy reputations or destroy trust in the media itself. Premium Times claimed its copies of Uche Nnaji's certificates were obtained from a senator who had access to his screening file. But here is the problem. Under Nigerian law, senators have no authority to publicly disclose private documents from screening sessions. The same law that gives journalists the right to request information also protects the privacy of public officials. A senator leaking such documents would not just be unethical, it would be illegal. Think am like this. If you submit your CV and certificate for a job, you go happy if HR carry and give reporter. E no make sense. So, was there really a senator involved? Or was that claim, like the alleged letter, part of a larger fabrication? Let's think on that for a minute. No senator of a 10th assembly has publicly admitted to leaking the documents. No evidence has surfaced that any of them did. And no official investigation has confirmed Premium Times' claim. The challenge remains unanswered, which raises an uncomfortable question. If a document weren't from UNN and not from the Senate, then where did they come from? Could the certificate themselves have been forged? Not by the minister, but by the accusers. Until Premium Times discloses verifiable proof, the allegations rest on shaky ground. Beyond the legal technicalities lies something bigger: trust. Trust between the government and the governed, trust between the public and the press. Investigative journalism plays a vital role in holding power accountable. But when facts are stretched or sources are vague, journalism becomes weaponized, turning from watchdog to war dog. When reporter carry half story, call am investigation, e dey weaken real journalism wey dey fight for truth. The Nnaji controversy exposes a tension at the heart of modern Nigeria, a hunger for accountability, battling against a culture of sensationalization. In a democracy, both truth and fairness must coexist. The press investigates, but it must also respect privacy and due process. As the dust settles, one question still hangs in the air. Did Uche Nnaji forge his certificates, or was he framed by misinformation and political rivalry? The truth may still emerge, buried in official files or in the conscience of those who know. But one thing is clear: in the battle between exposure and ethics, Nigeria's democracy need both courage and care. Because for dis our country, truth no dey shout. E dey whisper. You gats listen well to hear am. You all, let's have your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section below. Thank you very much for always listening and watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.
Controversy of alleged certificate forgery surrounding the Minister of Science and Technology, Mr. Uche Nnaji. And of course, the university in question, UNN, has been speaking, and there was also a court case. Recall this began from about July 2023 when the minister's name came up, for screening. Let's have this conversation and get the minister's perspective. His spokesperson joins us now on the program. Mr. Robert Ngu is the spokesperson to the Minister of Science and Technology and Innovation. Mr. Ngu, thank you for joining us on the Morning Brief.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And reports also came through yesterday that the minister's lawyer argued in court. To set the tone, what is the summary of the prayers of the lawyer in court?
Well, there was an injunction granted by the court. The Honourable Minister sought protection of the court. One, that the school should stop tampering with his academic files, because there was an information that his files was lodged in the Vice Chancellor's office for the last 6 months. Secondly, that the school should release his transcript, and those were granted, those protections were granted. And thirdly, that the supervising authority should do their work by supervising these institutions. Those are the prayers, and they were granted.
But I deliberately wanted you to go through those prayers again, but it appears as if they're contradictory. On the one hand, you're asking the UNN not to tamper with his academic records, and on the other hand, you're demanding a release of his transcript. In exercising its right, to access the transcript or to produce the transcript, it must, touch on the academic records of the minister.
They didn't say don't touch. They said stop tampering or manipulating, because there was obvious evidence by what we saw online where things from a personal file of a former student was being released online. That means somebody in the school is deliberately doing that. So we got on a good authority that there are some manipulations going on. And so, excuse me, the Honourable Minister sought protection of the courts, that they should release his transcript.
Is that your own interpretation, that it's tampering? Because the UNN reserves the right to look into the academic records of its student.
Oh yes, nobody is stopping them from looking. The file is with them. It is their file, and their file is there for them to review. Nobody's stopping them. Tampering is a different. Tampering is.
Some would say tampering is your own interpretation of the university's rights.
No. When the file of a student has no business in the Vice Chancellor's office. You have an acting Vice Chancellor who was a card-carrying member of the PDP. Under normal circumstances, he's not even qualified to be a Vice Chancellor of the school, but he was made acting. And then you have another Vice Chancellor who was in government for decades, and you put a robe, an academic robe, on a politician. So the minister was jittery, because we know this is political, and we know how Enugu politics is, And so in Enugu, PDP has found a way to remain in power for the last 26 years by making sure there are no competition during elections. So what they do is go after whoever they think we challenge them and try to discredit them or find a way for them not to have a political party to run on. So the issue was stop tampering, stop manipulating his files, stop, basically release his transcripts.
All right. Before we get into the politics of it, there are also talks that the minister by himself in admission in the court document has said that the university didn't refuse to release his academic records to him, his certificate. So the question is, where did he get the one that he had presented before the the Senate for screening, before the SGF for screening? Some are saying that by admission he has said that indeed he forged the one that is with him if the university did not avail him of his certificate.
That is where the problem is. The problem is that everybody is quoting Premium Times. Everybody has seen Premium Time as the Bible or the Quran of journalistic integrity. Everybody you've spoken to say Premium Times said, right? But has anybody actually found out if what they're speculating is true? In the court, there are prayers that were asked. One is, stop tampering with my files. Two, release my transcript. By the way, in May was when he asked for his transcript. He applied for it, he paid for it, and it was not released. So he had to get a court order for you to release his transcript. Why are you not releasing his transcript? That's his academic records. Release it. That's all.
So did he admit or not that the university refused to release his certificate?
My point is, the issue is about transcript. What has certificate got to do with transcript? If you're asking for transcript, why would you talk about certificate? The point is...
Well, certificate is also important in this conversation.
I understand.
Because the question is, how then did he get through Senate screening before he became minister?
I want to discredit that comment because all I'm asking journalists to do is to do their own independent, do your own independent research in the case. Don't quote Premium Times. Because everybody keep quoting Premium Times.
No, I'm asking you now, did he present a certificate during screening before he became... he got the nod to become a minister?
Yes.
Did he present?
He presented his certificate.
So where did he get that one?
He presented his certificate, which was valid. The screening authorities have screened his certificate and they passed him. You understand? Now, the Minister of the Federal Republic, as a former student, he is not the person to validate a certificate given to him by the school. The school is responsible for validating his certificate. And what did they say? After 2 days search of a 40-year-old record, what did the Vice Chancellor say? Meanwhile, the Vice Chancellor has no business responding to such things. But he took it upon himself in 2 days to search 40-year-old record to say information available to me, we cannot verify, we cannot attest. From information available to you, what is wrong with your information? What is wrong with the information available to you that you have to keep somebody's file for 6 months in your office and yet you could not verify something awarded by your institution? You understand? So look at the key issue. From information available to them, they cannot. Which is why the minister asks you, release his transcript. Why do you, if you go to school, to any other school or to a different country, they ask you for your transcript, not for your certificate. There's a reason for that. Because the transcript is more superior. The transcript shows your academic records. The transcript shows, your progress, your graduation level, and all that.
All right.
Which is why he goes for that.
All right. There's so many questions to ask. You really haven't, answered my question satisfactorily. But I'm sure Kayode has follow-up questions for you from Lagos. Kayode, go ahead.
To be clear, in paragraph 13 of the affidavit filed during the court processes, the minister is quoted as saying that I am yet to collect my certificate from the third defendant, that's UNN, due largely to the non-cooperative attitude of the third to the fifth defendants, which is UNN, the Vice Chancellor, and the Registrar. If indeed the Honorable Minister made those comments in the affidavit, it either means he lied under oath, if you say that he actually has a certificate that he submitted to the Senate, or what was submitted for his screening was forged. Which one is it?
Okay, go. Basically, you want to know why, and you're still going back to the same question of what Premium Times said. Premium Times has become a repeat offender on misinformation. And so many cases abound where they allege something and they go and quietly apologize. They shoot before verifying. So everybody is quoting Premium Times, and I don't feel comfortable answering anything coming from Premium Times. If channels have done their independent investigation and asked me a question, I will address it. Premium Times is known to be an online publication that goes after their paid sponsors from politicians. And this is all political.
Mr. Ngo,
so
I want you to stick to the. I understand. I understand your point, and I want us to speak to the issues. Okay, and I am giving you a paragraph from the affidavit. Is that submission wrong? Did he say that under oath or not? This is again. This is for Nigerians. They want to know the truth, and I think this presents a very viable opportunity and platform for the honourable minister to speak his own side without getting immersed in whatever issues surround this. So I want us to speak to the issues. Did he make those statements under oath in the affidavit that the university is yet to give him his certificate or not?
What the honourable minister said was that his transcript has not been given to him. You know why? Because from 1985 till date, till 2013, he has never worked for a private, he had never worked for government or anybody that would have asked him for transcript. He's been in the private sector all his life. So for the first time, he's actually asking for his transcript. It has never been given to him. He has never asked for it before. So this case is all about transcript, which he, by the way, applied for in May of this year. He applied for his transcript since May. Till date, they have not given him his transcript, which is why he went to court to ask for the same transcript. So if you go to a court filing and you look at hundreds of pages of an affidavit, and you bring out one line that may or may not be there, the fact remains that the purpose of this court case was release my transcript. That's what he asked for. And to date, even with injunction, the school has not released it as of this morning. That's basically what it is.
So you're saying that that line in the affidavit, and I must point out again that these are court proceedings under oath, and the truth must be said. You're saying that he didn't say that he has not gotten his certificate, that what he said is that he has not gotten his transcript. Is that what you're saying? Yes.
The prayer he sought for, which the court gave him the protection.
No, let's be clear. I'm not talking about the prayers. I am talking about his own submissions under affidavit. The prayers are one thing. His own submission to support his claim is another thing. I mean, you understand the court proceedings. He would give his own case.
But you're still quoting what Premium Times alleged. That's why I asked you, have you seen it?
Okay, so here's what we'll do. In front of Nigerians right now, you have the court proceedings. I'm correct, because I saw you were looking at it on your phone. Can you pull it out and read to us the paragraph 13 for Nigerians? Certainly. Is that something you can do right now?
Oh, yes, I can do that.
Yes, please.
So this is suit number FHC/ABJ/CS/1909/2025. Minister of Education is number 1, National University Commissions number 2, University of Nigeria number 3, Professor Simon Ortuanya, the VC number 4, Registrar number 5, Professor Uche Geoffrey Nnaji, who was the former acting VC number 6, Senate, University of Nigeria number 7. This is an ex parte. 1. The order granting leave to the applicant to issue the prerogative writ of prohibition on the 3rd to the 5th and the 7th respondents from tampering with or continue to tamper with the applicant's academic records at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. Number 2, an order granting leave to the applicant to issue the prerogative writ of mandamus compelling the 3rd to the 5th and 7th respondents to release to the applicant his academic transcripts at the University of Nigeria in Nsukka. In addition to 2 above, Number 3, an order granting leave to the applicant to issue the prerogative writ of mandamus, compelling the first and second respondents to ensure, utilizing their supervisory and disciplinary powers, that the third to the fifth and seventh respondents release to the applicant his academic transcript at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Number 4, an interim order of injunction restraining the third to the fifth to seventh defendant from tampering or continue to tamper with the applicant's academic records at the University of Nigeria pending the termination of this suit. Such order to further orders in this court may deem fit to make.
Okay, Mr. Ongu,
and those protections.
Let me pause you. Let me pause you for a moment so you can grab a glass of water, just so you're well hydrated. But it's not the orders that we're speaking about here, and I appreciate that you're able to read that to Nigerians. What is the bone of contention is the affidavit, which is his own side of the story, supporting his own claim. And I want us to go to paragraph 13 of the affidavit, not the prayers and the eventual order. I'm talking about the affidavit, if you get my drift here, Mr. Ongu. So it's paragraph 13 specifically that I want you to go to of the affidavit.
And what I have here is the court order. I don't have the full affidavit here with me, but if you have it, you can read it.
So, so you can't.
Don't read what premium time.
No, if you're saying that it's not true.
I want the court records.
I understand. If you're saying that is not true, then you need to provide us with what you regard as evidence to counter that. But in the absence of that, you can't keep saying it's not true. For all you care, you may have not seen it yourself, or have you seen it? And if you have seen it, can you give us? Let's have it.
Okay. Here is what is the issue at point here. That's the most important question. What is the issue at point? The issue at point is a transcript of a former student, an alumni of the school, asking his school to provide his transcript to him. He officially applied May 2025. The reason why he did that was because of the academic robe was put on a politician who has no business being acting VC of a premium University of Nigeria. So he, on good authority, he had information that there was some crazy things going on between the state government and an agent of the state government who was put in charge, who was put on academic robe in the school. Based on that, he's like, you know what, give me my transcript. Because every time, as you see in the history of Nigeria, every time you talk about certificates, somebody say there's no comma here, there's no signature here, there is no number. They keep so. Transcript is a superior document that shows somebody's academic record. So everything about this case is about seeking protection. 1, stop tampering with my file. 2, release my transcript. That is what this is all about. So ask yourself, what has a certificate got to do with your asking for a transcript? Ask yourself that. So you look at
Mr. Ongu,
hundreds of pages.
Mr. Ongu, I mean, a majority of Nigerians watching have passed through university or even polytechnic or some sort of academic institution, and we need to place it on record. If you say the transcript is superior, why then are you issued a certificate? And let's be clear, a certificate is a formal document awarded to prove that you have completed. Okay, the course, the transcript in itself is to show what you got in different courses. So you took microbiology, you took physics, this is what you scored. But what you get at the end of that process is a certificate. So I find it curious that you say that a transcript is superior to a certificate when it's proven that a certificate is indeed the proof that you have completed your course. Now, the bone of contention here, pardon me, let me just land. The bone of contention here, and as I said, nobody's trying to hang the minister, it's just to get the facts out there for Nigerians. The bone of contention is what certificate did he present to the Senate if that paragraph says he has not gotten his certificate? That is one bone of contention. The second is the school's statements. Again, the letter which is said to have been written, and the school, the vice chancellor saying, hey, we have looked and we're unable to confirm that we have his records here. I want you to also speak to issues around the letter saying that he was not able to pass a certain course and he had to retake that course. So those are the issues of contention. Where did he get his certificates from, even for NYSC as well, if indeed he said he had not gotten them?
You asked a very valid question, which is why the Honorable Minister was asking for his transcript. The Vice Chancellor of the university received, or supposedly received, the Freedom of Information letter from Premium Times on the 29th September, right? 1st October was a public holiday. So you have 30th. On the 2nd, he responded after searching through 40-year-old record. And he tells you, excuse me, from available information, from information available to him, he cannot validate the certificate. But what is available to you? What is available to you is a transcript, right? The information available to you is a transcript. So in this case, what you're talking about is why are you looking for transcripts when certificate is better? But they say, they don't even have a copy of the certificate in their files. Which questions the record keeping as a premium institution? So if it takes you 2 years to search 40-year-old record, a vice chancellor who should be busy, who was just appointed less than 2 months ago, should be busy, he took two days to search through 40-year-old record and said, from information available to me, I cannot. He has created an out for himself. So, which is why the Honorable Minister was wise to say, give me my transcript, which will show everything, including all the questions you're asking. The transcript is there to show. That's what I'm saying. Release it to me.
All right,
Don't tamper with it.
Mr. Ngo, if I can quickly come in here, and I think it would be great to even have the minister himself speak to these issues. For some people, it may have been a downer yesterday that the minister didn't show up. Because in cases like this, you expect that, oh, he shows up and says, you know, this is the situation. Because I serve Nigerians, I'm accountable to Nigerians, right? So it would be great to have a conversation with the minister. Let's walk through it together. But there's a growing call for him to step aside during this whole process to show that indeed he's in tune with the issues. Is that something he's willing to do?
Well, it goes back to the whole reason for all this campaign. Premium Times was allegedly paid 100 million to start this process.
By who? Because this is a big allegation, Mr. Who paid? And do you have proof?
Allegedly paid 100 million as for starters to start this campaign.
By who? And you have the proof?
If you look at it, I'll come back to that. If you look at the history...
I need you to speak to that quickly so we don't lose it in transit. By who?
Okay.
And do you have proof of this? Because that's a weighty allegation we can't verify.
They were allegedly paid by the state government of Tinubu'S state. That's the person behind the mask.
And where's the proof you have?
100. Okay, we can talk about proof. Okay? That's why I say it was allegedly. So, which is, you know, let the state government defend themselves. But the point remains that this is all politically motivated. And that's what they're good at. And everybody, I'm perplexed that every media outfit in Nigeria is quoting Premium Times. Every media outfit. All of them. Do your independent verification. In 2023, December, another outfit, Gazette, went online. They wrote to the university to verify the academic records of the Honorable Minister. They wrote a letter, sealed and stamped by the registrar of the school, and sent to Gazette publication, quoting when he started and when he graduated. And that was it. So 2 years later, 2025, a new vice chancellor who just came in started responding to things he has no business responding to.
So who wrote a letter to Gazette that published the date of admission and date of graduation?
Okay, Gazette wrote to University of Nigeria.
And University of Nigeria replied, supplying
yes,
date of admission and date of graduation.
Yes, they did.
And you have that letter.
We
you
have
can
that
make
letter.
it available to
Yes,
Nigerians.
make it available to Nigerians. It's online. It's on public records. Yes,
it's a public record.
Yes,
we would like to cite that, but
yes.
you know that you have made weighty allegations against the Enugu State government, and you can back it up with evidence.
We have, they were allegedly paid. Yes.
Can you back it up with evidence? You have proof of transaction.
We allegedly was people who verbal confirmation, right? So we can find out.
You can back it up with your sources.
We have our sources.
You have your sources.
Yes.
Okay, because the Enugu State government has been speaking through their spokesperson. And the governor is saying the minister should carry his cross, that he's got nothing to do with this. Okay, as we wind down, are you denying the authenticity of the affidavit where in paragraph 13, the minister admitted that UNN has refused to issue him his certificate?
What I'm contesting.
It's not about what you're contesting.
No, I want to.
It's the authenticity
you're quoting
of the affidavit.
Anything that comes from premium times, to me, has no credibility. So if you want me to respond to something everybody's quoting premium times, if channels told me...
You are the spokesperson of the minister.
Yes, I am.
Are you dissociating the minister from that affidavit? You're saying that affidavit didn't come from the minister.
What I'm saying is that, ask yourself, minister is seeking for protection. One, stop this people from messing with my records, because that's what they're doing. Two, release my transcript.
You have not answered the question, Mr. Ungo.
Everything, you're asking me to go through hundreds of records of an affidavit that is not in front of me. You understand? The only thing that you're telling me is that the Premium Times said. How can I respond to that when I don't trust anything that Premium Times is saying?
But the affidavit originated from your principal, from the minister.
The case originated from my minister, yes.
So we can rely on the information that has come through in paragraph 13, where he admitted that the university did not give him his certificate.
He never admitted that. What he said was that he has never received his transcript. Never received his transcript.
Did he receive his certificate from the university?
He submitted records to go through confirmation.
So he didn't receive his certificate from the university?
He received certificate.
He received certificate.
But he's not the one, it's not his job to validate certificate that he received from the school. It is the school's responsibility. And the Vice Chancellor is telling you, from records available to him, he cannot do that.
Well, your answer is neither here nor there.
It is straightforward.
We might have to hear from the minister himself in order to verify whether indeed he received his certificate from the university or not, or whether what is being said in that affidavit contradicts what he has put out to the Senate, and indeed to...
He sought protection.
As we wind down, if the UN and the institution... let's assume without conceding that it's, subject to the whims and caprices of the Enugu State government. What about the National Youth Service, which has also written to Premium Times and said, look, we cannot authenticate this certificate of passing out that the minister has presented? Is the NYSC also...
That is false.
...at the beck and call?
NYSC never did that.
Okay, give us clarification on what...
No, they didn't show you what NYSC sent them. They're the ones that are alleging. They should prove. NYSC never wrote to them that he never did. They should have shown it.
Do you know what NYSC indeed said? Can you tell us indeed if NYSC authenticated the minister's passing out certificate?
There was never there was never an issue of NYSC. All you saw is somebody interpreting fake documents they put online and started analyzing it. There was never an issue of NYSC. He served his country in Plateau State.
And you are clarifying that he didn't have issues,
he has no issues
with NYSC certificate.
No issues.
And NYSC didn't write to say they couldn't authenticate.
The only time they wrote was when the governor of Enugu State, where they wrote and said that what he presented was not valid.
All right. Yeah. It appears as if there are more questions than answers even after this conversation, and we look forward to an opportunity to get the answers that we seek from the Honorable Minister himself. We must thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Robert Ugu, who is the spokesperson of the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation.
Well, you see, it's so surprising that, but for the court court evidence, the court affidavit, in which he was defending himself, one would have thought there was need for clarification, for confirmation that it could be misinformation. But this is a very dreadful situation that questions the entire integrity of our selection process for ministerial posts. Because you see, at times one has sounded a bit sarcastic when you say that it's not proper for senators to just ask those being interviewed or those selected to just take a bow and go. This has shown the futility of such a process now, that it does not ensure that we have the best hands, and it does not ensure that we are probing the background of those who put in positions of honor, such as that of a minister. And look at even the Ministry of Technology and Science and Innovation. That is the key ministry that is supposed to drive all our endeavors, both infrastructural, educational, health-wise, and all that. We have to use innovation and technology to drive everything. And then we have in place a person who cannot even present a first-degree certificate. It is outrageous. It is, I would say, almost barbaric. But here we are. The minister, there is a notice somewhere that is about to address a press conference at 2 o'clock today. Maybe we should still give him some benefit of doubt. But it is bad enough as it is, because the court statement is there. If the court statement were not there, that is SWOTO trying to stop the university from releasing its papers and trying to stop so many other things, one would have said it was more of fiction. But this is an open admission. But I won't judge a man before his trial. Do you get me? So I will still caution that we wait till he has the press conference, which is scheduled for 2 p.m. We're almost there. Let's leave it at that for now.
And to your point, that press conference that's coming at 2 p.m., I'm curious as to what you'll be watching for, what you expect him to say, and also just what the general repercussions of this event will be.
Well, I will, if I want to be sympathetic with him, I will want him to show at the press conference his original certificate for the degree in biochemistry or microbiology. You get me? If he says that, he will save face. But as it is, the damage is done, because the university has disowned him. The vice chancellor of the university has disowned him. And you see, I was trying to probe the background in the media. You run against a block. You tried. You run against a block on his background. I thought the Nnaji that I know, the engineers, technologies, and so on. But I mean, his own background is different. For somebody who's in charge of science, technology, and innovation, you will be maybe somebody, first-class scientist, or a geologist, or a doctor, and things like that. But I am amazed that we have a minister of science, technology, who does not even have a first degree. It is a sad commentary on the way we select people,
yes,
and the way we manage our affairs.
Now, Mr. Dyer, you know, I would always say that when we have conversations like this, it often sets precedents for the future of what handling a situation like this would be. But what I find really interesting is Uche Nnaji, that is the current Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, is not the first person to be embroiled in this. We have Kemi Adeosun is very similar case. Adebayo Shitu, the former Minister of Communication, he was also accused of failing to participate in the one-year mandatory service. Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, Minister of Interior, same situation. Stella Odua, the former Minister of Aviation
and senator representing Anambra North.
Yeah.
Now, in Kemi Adeosun's case, we obviously saw that resignation, and eventually in 2021, the court saying that she was exempted in some way because of her citizenship and the time that she was going to go on. But as to the ethical situation with regards to that issue was never truly addressed. So when we see cases like this, they come, they go. They come, they go. What is the reality of this bringing any actual action, such as a removal or ideally a resignation for this incident, when in fact it's not something that is new? It happens a lot, but I mean, I hate to say this, but even our president at some point was embroiled in a similar situation. So what is the reality of any tangible action that will then show accountability and responsibility happening if this is just one of those issues that happens in the Nigerian space?
If you allow us to discuss it, I will say something.
Oh, of course we are.
Because you've gone at length. This is a case that is unfolding. The fact that we have not taken concrete action in the past should not deprive us of the opportunity to look at this candidly.
So you think we're going to start today?
This is in these other cases, people who are coming out to defend themselves. But in this particular instance, the investigators, they've been at this for about 2 years. So it is not something that dropped out of the skies. And I'm giving him benefit of doubt because, you see, we presume a man innocent until found guilty. So he will have the press conference, then we will know more. And the fact that so many people have done it in the past and have gotten away with it does not mean that government cannot act on what is so apparent and brazenly fraudulent. It is the duty of government to act on it. No matter how many have been able to jump the boat and go scot-free, but here the context is different. Yes, the context is different. So let us face it, it is an abnormally disgraceful thing for a minister in charge of science and technology not to have even a first degree and to be claiming to have one and to be trying to stop the university from releasing information to the public. This may end up as a prosecution if care is not taken, and I hope it does, because if you are taking all of us for a ride all along, including the presidency and the legislature, it should be made to face the music squarely in the court of law. But let's tarry a while, wait for 2 o'clock when he has his press conference,
which is about 15 minutes.
Yes.
And, you know, to Kachi's point, she listed out all of these other officials who've gone through this. I'm curious if you'd want to talk about the psychology of it. What goes into someone with such a public profile thinking it's okay to even take on this kind of role without having a real degree? Is this because if I'm just thinking, if it was me, I wouldn't necessarily want to be in such a public profile if I don't even have the degree to back it up. Why are they doing this?
Let me look into your fears. You see, it must be a very brave mind, you get me? Almost criminal, to know that you do not have what it takes to be here, and you are there, day in, day out, for 2 years. It must be a very bold, audacious person. I won't say criminal, but you see, people are ambitious, people seek power. And they think they can. You don't know how he got. See, he's been in politics for some time, and many of these other people. We found out. You mentioned Kemi something. You go and find out this. Somebody brought her in. You get me? And they thought they could cook up the NYSC thing, and it leaked. So see, you should be giving kudos to the private investigators, premium time. I don't want to mention the name, but premium times should give kudos to them. They are persistent. They put obstacles on their path, but they kept on plodding until they got to this stage. And then they finally made the full revelation when they got the court document. The court document is like a public document, and it was signed to by the minister.
Yeah.
So if see what you are saying, if I am in this sort of position, I will be thinking of a way to escape or bolt. You get me? But it takes an audacious mind to do this sort of thing and still be hanging around, claiming innocence.
Before we, let you go, obviously you're speaking to the fact that this should be penalized.
Yeah.
So looking at the elements of crime, which is a guilty mind and a guilty act, actus reus mens rea.
That's what she was trying to fathom out.
Exactly. So you're saying this is
this is what you were trying to fathom out.
This is absolutely a crime and should be treated as such, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying that yet. Don't put words into my mouth.
No, that's how I
said the minister will address a press conference and hopefully he will prove all of us wrong.
But this NYSC thing, that's a whole other conversation. A lot of Nigerian youths have complained about the fact that is NYSC still necessary, especially if you consider
that should not be for today.
No, but I would like to just
I did national service 50 years, over 50 years ago.
Yes.
I did national service, and I'm proud that I did it. I know what it exposed me to.
Oh, what did it expose you to?
To know my country.
Oh, okay.
To know other parts of the country. You didn't do national service?
Of course I did.
What did it
100%.
expose you to?
That's a great question.
You asked me.
That's
you
a
just
great
asked
question.
me.
What did it expose you to?
I answered you. It
exposed you to Nigeria?
Yes.
I see.
Either too, I never crossed, I never went beyond maybe Ibadan. But I did it in Maiduguri. Where did you do yours?
I did my
movie, Sabon Dale. You don't movie, former Northeast.
I exposed you
so
to...
leave NYSC. It's not a time for NYSC. Let this minister hopefully clear himself.